Have you ever thought about why certain people can easily get other people to like them, no matter where they are or what they're doing? It's not charm, looks, or money that makes the difference. It's something much simpler and stronger. It's the words they use and the way they make people feel seen, heard, and important. In this video, I'm going to show you 6 easy phrases, just 6 words, that will make people automatically want to be around you when you speak them with presence and sincerity. These aren't methods or ways to get what you want. The same Stoic ideals that inspired Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius to affect, connect, and inspire without force are at the heart of these ideas. Not only will you know what to say at the conclusion of this video, but you'll also know how to use these 6 words to build trust, get others interested in you, and make a lasting impression on anyone, whether it's in love, friendship, or business. If you want to be magnetic in your discussions, take close attention. What you're going to learn will change how people see you forever. Number 1, I understand how you feel. When you say something like, I understand how you feel, you are doing far more than just delivering comfort. You are actually engaging in a type of emotional philosophy. Even though they were frequently regarded as advocates of rationality over emotion, the Stoics never considered feeling to be a sign of weakness. In order to respond to it with wisdom, they endeavored to comprehend it, to master it, and to understand it. This sentence is a perfect example of its ability to strike a balance between honoring the feeling and without becoming overtaken by it. In his teachings, Epictetus emphasized the importance of listening to understand what moves others. He was of the opinion that having the ability to perceive the world through the eyes of another individual was necessary before one could advise or influence that individual. You are inserting yourself into their mental space when you say something like, I understand how you feel. In doing so, you are recognizing that the emotions that they are experiencing are genuine to them, regardless of whether or not you agree with them. This seemingly insignificant acknowledgement accomplishes something profound. It affirms the individual's subjective experience. Also, validation has a magnetic effect. The resistance is weakened, openness is bred, and trust is subtly invited by its subtle invitation. In the field of modern neuroscience, this ageless truth is confirmed. The release of oxytocin, the same chemical that is responsible for feelings of connection and safety, occurs in the body of a person when they experience the feeling of being emotionally acknowledged. The hormone that strengthens partnerships is called the bonding hormone. The individual who is listening experiences profound physiologic modifications as a result of your tone and intent. Even though your words may appear to be straightforward, they let down their guard. Their energy shifts throughout time. They have a sense of being seen. Marcus Aurelius's habit of reminding himself to enter deeply into the minds of others appeared quite frequently. This was not merely ethical guidance, rather it was very practical instruction. Emperor Stoic was aware of the fact that empathy is a source of persuasion. When you comprehend the inner world of another person, you also know how to go there. When you tell someone, I understand how you feel, you are aligning yourself with the Stoic worldview, which is to see the shared humanity that lies underlying the distinctions that are visible on the surface. The two of you are no longer two individuals who are on opposing sides of an issue. Rather, you are two souls who are sharing the same internal truth. The following is an excerpt from one of Seneca's letters. To bear the misfortunes of others with a gentle mind is to show that we understand our own nature. Simply put, empathy toward other people is a reflection of the emotional intelligence that we possess within ourselves. One who is able to declare, I understand how you feel, without showing any signs of emotional fragility, is not emotionally fragile. Rather, they are emotionally sovereign. To the extent that they have mastered their reactions, they are now able to make room for someone else's. This is the power. Think about the things that occur in the majority of talks. Instead of listening to someone who is expressing their displeasure or unhappiness, the other person seeks to find a solution to the problem. They immediately begin by offering advice, logic, or even worse, comparison. I completely understand what you mean because I have experienced the same thing. On the other hand, what they are actually saying is, let's start talking about me instead of talking about you. In contrast, Stoicism teaches the reverse. To remove the self from the center is what it instructs us to do. Listening, comprehending, and responding, not out of pride, but rather out of presence, are all important. Your tone becomes more essential than the words you say when you look someone in the eye and say, I understand how you feel, while maintaining a calm and sincere demeanor. The Stoics held the belief that the source of virtue is one's intention. The other person will quickly sense that your aim is genuine, which is to soothe them rather than to exert control over them. Through your actions, you bring forth an emotional balance that cannot be imitated. Not only does this phrase elicit an emotional response from other people, but it also commands the respect of those who are silent. How come? Since empathy is a form of strength that is under control. Few people are able to respond consciously, while the majority of people react impulsively. People have the impression that you are a person of inner stability when you demonstrate that level of self-control and compassion. They feel compelled to go there because, at their core, everyone yearns for peace and quiet. The Stoics believed that emotional knowledge was a skill that could be used to live in harmony with nature, which basically means to coexist peacefully with other people. Every day, Marcus Aurelius served as a reminder to himself that men exist for the sake of one another. Teach them, or you will have to take it. When you put empathy into practice, you are putting that principle into action. Instead of acting out of pride, you are taking steps to match your conduct with wisdom. When someone opens up to you in the future, whether they are angry, disappointed, or vulnerable, it is important to remember to take a deep breath. Mind your own business. Don't be in a hurry to answer. I understand how you feel, you should remark with true presence while allowing your eyes to relax completely. After that, take a break. In order for the silence to do its job, when they reach that point, their heart will perceive something that is really uncommon. A person who is not trying to win, who is not trying to outshine, but who is simply seeking to understand. This is the language of self-assurance and stability. One who exudes a sense of being grounded, collected, and profoundly human exudes that aura. That, in the most authentic Stoic sense, is one that cannot be resisted. Number 2, tell me more about that. In the same way that the first phrase increases empathy, this one increases connection. Because people are too preoccupied with waiting for their turn to talk, the majority of conversations are unsuccessful. They simply listen in order to respond, not in order to comprehend. You are doing something that is really uncommon when you say, tell me more about that, and that is demonstrating genuine curiosity. You make the other person the sole focus of attention, so conveying the message that their ideas, emotions, and experiences are significant. The insightful words of Seneca can be found in the following passage. Nature gave us one tongue but 2 ears, so that we may listen more and talk less. Listening is not a passive activity. This is a deeply magnetic force that is also active and intentional. The effective application of this technique conveys the message that you cherish not only the presence of another person, but also their mind. Stoics were aware of the fact that our capacity to observe, take in, and reply with thoughtfulness is significantly more potent than any brilliant remark that we could make. It is as if you are communicating to the subconscious of another person, I see you, when you extend an invitation to elaborate on their thoughts or experiences. I am interested in comprehending you. This kind of confirmation is craved by the human brain. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter that is responsible for pleasure and reward, is released by the brain of individuals when they talk about themselves and feel that they are being properly heard, according to research in the field of neuroscience. When you ask someone to elaborate, you are linking yourself with a favorable emotional state. This happens every time you ask someone to elaborate. They begin to feel good simply by being in your presence, and this is a much more successful way to develop attraction than charm or physical appeal ever could be. However, the influence of neurochemistry is not the only factor at play here. Through the use of the phrase, "Tell me more about that," you are conveying patience, self-control, and a sense of inner security. The majority of people can't help but feel obliged to either instantly present their own point of view or to dominate conversations. However, the Stoics emphasize that self-control is the key to power. When Marcus Aurelius was reminded of this, he said, "The obstacle to action is the advancement of action. Whatever is in the way will eventually become the way." It is common for silence to serve as the impediment in a conversation. The ability to control one's own ego and the willingness to make room for the voice of another are both demonstrated when one allows another person to speak without interruption. A quietly respectful and humble attitude is also conveyed by this phrase. You are acknowledging, without explicitly stating it, that you do not possess all of the answers, and that the other person may possess insights that you do not possess. When Epictetus stated, "It is impossible to learn that which one thinks one already knows," he was emphasizing the importance of this philosophical truth. By requesting that they continue, you are displaying that you are open to learning, which is an attractive quality in and of itself. When someone is self-assured enough to be curious, strong enough to listen, and secure enough to not struggle for supremacy, they are more likely to attract the attention of others. In addition to that, this sentence fosters a sense of emotional closeness. An individual is able to experience vulnerability in a secure environment when they are encouraged to communicate openly, particularly about aspects of their own ideas and feelings. It is quite rare to find someone who is capable of holding that space without being judged or interrupted. In the long run, this results in the development of trust, respect, and a profound, frequently unconscious sense of connection. When viewed through the lens of Stoicism, this is the practice of sympathia, which refers to the connectivity of humans created by mutual respect and shared understanding. Consider the effect in terms of its practical application. Someone tells a tale about a hurdle they encountered at work or a personal struggle that they tend to avoid talking about frequently. That is the response that you give. Tell me more about that. You choose to listen to what they have to say rather than instructing them, correcting them, or comparing your experiences. Their heart begins to open. When they relax their mind, individuals are able to make them feel heard in a way that very few individuals are ever able to do. Furthermore, due to the fact that your attention is genuine, it is almost impossible for them to avoid feeling drawn to your presence. The seeming simplicity of this remark is what makes it so beautiful. When you engage in discussion, you are not engaging in manipulation or performance. Rather, you are following Stoic values, which include patience, modesty, curiosity, and respect. Many people in the world speak with the intention of impressing or dominating others. Those individuals, however, who are able to say, "Tell me more about that," in a sincere manner, stand out effortlessly. If you are in a conversation in the future, you should fight the impulse to fill the quiet with something. It is important to keep eye contact with a calm expression, to allow your body language convey openness, and to ask in an honest manner, "Tell me more about that." Give them the opportunity to investigate their own thoughts and feelings, What you are doing at that very moment is not simply having a conversation. Rather, you are establishing a profound feeling of connection. It is not intellect or charisma that is the foundation of attraction. This is predicated on the principle of providing someone with the emotional space to be who they truly are. In the process of mastering this phrase, regular contacts are transformed into magnetic encounters that people will remember for a significant amount of time after the talk has concluded. Number 3. I'd love your opinion on this. To be confident does not mean to say the most. Rather, it is to value other people to the extent that you ask them what they think. When you say something like, "I'd love your opinion on this," you are doing something that elevates the other person. You are using the phrase, "you matter." Through your actions, you are conveying the message that their ideas carry significance and that their point of view is deserving of consideration. On account of the fact that the majority of people are rarely made to feel that they are truly valued, this little acknowledgement is extremely magnetic. It was Epictetus who emphasized that the key to true wisdom is humility, which is the capacity to acknowledge that other people may perceive things that we do not. The statement that he made was that it is impossible to learn that which one thinks one already knows. In order to demonstrate that you are not a preacher, but rather a student of life, you should ask someone for their viewpoint. This demonstrates that your mind is open. It is unnerving to see someone so honest. The ego is removed from the mix, and individuals are able to feel safe expressing themselves because you are not a danger. Rather, you are an ally in the goal of knowledge. The regular flow of discourse is turned upside down by this sentence, which is why it is effective. The majority of people engage in competition with one another to determine who is more intelligent, who is correct, and who can impress others. On the other hand, when you invite the viewpoint of another individual, you immediately start to stand out. You become into the exceptional person who pursues the truth rather than victory. People have an instinctive tendency to gravitate toward those who respect their intelligence and acknowledge their contributions. This subtle inversion is particularly persuasive. There is a psychological mechanism at work here, in addition to the possibility of attraction. An individual's brain has a good response when they have the perception that their thoughts are important to you. These individuals experience a spike of dopamine, which strengthens the connection between you and the enjoyable emotional state that you are experiencing. When you ask someone for their opinion, you are essentially creating a positive feedback loop. When they talk to you, they experience a sense of satisfaction, and they retain that feeling long after the interaction has ended. The Stoics put this notion into practice in their day-to-day lives. Marcus Aurelius told himself, "Be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it." Despite the fact that his remarks are referring to the ability to remain calm in the face of hardship, the lesson may also be applied to conversation. Keep your cool, remain grounded, and approach every interaction without the desire to dominate. A technique to embody that calm authority is to invite comments from others. This shows that you are secure in yourself, while also showing respect for other people. Additionally, this sentence exemplifies emotional intelligence, which is widely regarded as one of the most desirable characteristics of a human being. One way that people automatically evaluate the safety of another person is by seeing how they react when they are confronted with a disagreement or different opinion. You are demonstrating that you are comfortable with other ideas and open to learning when you ask someone in a sincere manner, "I'd love your opinion on this." This is a display of strength that is wrapped in humility. Another advantage is that giving someone the opportunity to express their viewpoint strengthens the relationship between the two of you. conversations are rarely remembered for the information or data they contain. Rather, they are remembered for the feelings they evoked in its participants. By extending an invitation to them to share their viewpoint, you leave an emotional imprint. Respect, recognition, and most importantly, understanding are all things that they experience. The beauty of this phrase lies in the fact that it is both straightforward and genuine. The only thing that is required is genuine interest. Eloquence and performance are not necessary. This genuineness is irresistible to individuals. Those are attracted to individuals who have a clear perception of them, those who respect their intelligence, and people who accept their thoughts as meaningful. So the next time you want to take a conversation to the next level, cultivate trust, or generate attraction, take a moment to pause and inquire in a real manner. I'd love your opinion on this. Listen attentively, let them talk, and take in the wisdom they have to offer. You are no longer merely conducting a conversation. Rather, you are establishing an environment in which connection, respect, and subtle influence can thrive spontaneously. Number 4. I really appreciate you. The feeling of gratitude is one of the most potent emotional impulses that can be experienced by a human being, at the same time as it transforms ordinary experiences into meaningful ones. It also softens pride and strengthens connections. Nevertheless, in day-to-day living, appreciation is sometimes disregarded or communicated in a superficial manner, such as with a brief thank you that is not noticed. The Stoic philosophy teaches us that genuine admiration must be deliberate and sincere, and that it must have its origins in the acknowledgement of the inherent worth of other personalities. Thankfulness was referred to by Seneca as the greatest of virtues. He was of the opinion that gratitude is the foundation upon which all other forms of moral perfection are built, because to be grateful is to acknowledge the worth of another person. It is more than just acknowledging a particular deed when you say, "I really appreciate you." Since you are doing more than that, you are recognizing the existence of the person as well as their efforts and their essence. What you are saying is, you are worthy. You have been observed. You have been acknowledged. This speaks to a profound and fundamental aspect of the human psyche, which is the desire to be recognized as more than only a background presence in the world. This expression elicits a powerful emotional resonance that is not immediately obvious. Individuals are conditioned to receive acclaim for the things that they do, but only a small percentage of them are acknowledged for who they are. The expression "I really appreciate you" serves to validate the individual's identity. By doing so, you demonstrate that you are cognizant of their value and that you are concentrating your attention on them in a manner that is significant. Because you are so uncommon in a society where superficiality is so prevalent, you stand out from the crowd. Through the simple act of acknowledging the existence of others, you transform into a source of positive energy and raise those around you. When gratitude is communicated in a real manner, it also helps to promote faithfulness and trust. When it comes to interpersonal relationships, the Stoics emphasize the importance of virtue and mutual respect as the foundation for success. According to a quote attributed to Marcus Aurelius, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, and to love." The recognition and respect that you have for individuals around you can be transmitted by extending this awareness to those around you and expressing appreciation. When someone makes them feel valued, understood, and celebrated, they have a natural tendency to draw toward that person. In addition to that, there is a psychological mechanism at play here. The release of dopamine and oxytocin, which are hormones associated with joy, trust, and connection, occurs in the brain of an individual when they hear or experience sincere praise. When you show genuine appreciation for someone or something, You are establishing a positive relationship between yourself and the feelings that you are expressing. To put it another way, individuals don't just experience feelings of appreciation in the present moment. They go on to carry those feelings with them, and they unconsciously associate those feelings with you. That has a magnetic effect. Being grateful has a transformative effect on you as well as on other people. By expressing gratitude, you are compelled to recognize the positive qualities that people possess, which in turn reduces judgment, fosters humility, and reduces hubris. Your thinking will be brought into alignment with the Stoic ideals of wisdom, justice, and temperance. You will develop greater emotional intelligence, social influence, and inner calmness as you develop the practice of recognizing the worth that others possess over time. It is the straightforwardness and sincerity of the phrase, "I really appreciate you," that gives it its force. It is not necessary to make huge gestures, to be eloquent, or to be charming. It is necessary to be present and to be sincere. It is important to look directly into the eyes of the person you are speaking to. Give them the impression that you recognize them with your tone, posture, and eye contact. The combination of words and presence leaves an emotional imprint that is much more long-lasting than any shallow compliment could ever be responsible for. As a matter of fact, thankfulness is the catalyst that transforms everyday communication into emotional alchemy. It not only makes people feel seen, but it also makes them feel special. Your presence will become magnetic if you continue to deliver this kind of recognition on a frequent basis. People will not only want to be in your presence, but they will also seek out your vibe because it is perceived as being secure, uncommon, and authentic. Next, we will discuss another statement that, when combined with gratitude, can strengthen the connection between two people and increase their attraction to one another. You make a great point. Number 5, you make a great point. The phrase in question is the finest example of ego diffusing. In the majority of debates, individuals listen not to comprehend but rather to respond to what is being said. Their primary concerns include defending oneself, demonstrating their intelligence, or establishing their superiority over others. The Stoics, on the other hand, were aware of the fact that true power is derived from serenity, self-control, and controlled responses. According to a quote attributed to Marcus Aurelius, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. The person who is the most powerful is not the one who is the loudest, the most aggressive, or the one who emerges victorious from the fight. Rather, it is the person who maintains their grounding, their principles, and their unwavering resolve. In the event that someone questions your viewpoint or expresses a strong opinion, responding, "You make a great point," immediately causes a shift in the intensity of the debate. It conveys the message that you are self-assured enough to not feel threatened, secure enough to recognize quality, and smart enough to place a higher priority on truth than pride. During the conversation, you are sending a message that your goal is to gain understanding rather than to win. This seemingly insignificant act of humility has a very significant impact. It disarms defensiveness, reduces tension, and opens the way to genuine connection. Recognizing the intelligence of another individual in this manner is a sort of influence that is not only subtle but also potent. Those that are able to verify their thoughts without compromising their personal integrity are someone that people admire without even realizing it. They have the impression that you are impartial, emotionally stable, and composed. You are the kind of person who exemplifies power without being arrogant. Inner sovereignty was a concept that the Stoics referred to as strength that does not require the control of others in order to exist. Additionally, there is a psychological concept that underlies this. To activate the brain's reward system, it is necessary to acknowledge the point that another individual has made. People have the sense that they are understood, cherished, and heard. the guard is down, and a natural sense of connection begins to develop between them. Your compelling presence is not due to your charming personality, but rather to the fact that you create an environment in which ideas may be freely and openly conveyed. Additionally, using this remark is an example of emotional intelligence. This displays that you have control over your own ego when you are able to acknowledge the viewpoint of another person without engaging in a debate. Epictetus highlighted that internal judgments about external occurrences are what cause us to feel uneasy, rather than the events themselves. Your choice to react with "you make a great point" demonstrates that you choose composure over impulsive, respect over defensiveness, and truth over pride. These characteristics are those that garner admiration, trust, and influence from others. It's essential to keep in mind that this does not imply complete and utter agreement. Discernment is at the heart of Stoicism. It is possible to maintain one's convictions while simultaneously acknowledging the validity of the reasoning of another. Through the practice of this equilibrium, you demonstrate that your self-assurance is founded on wisdom rather than on the ability to win every discussion. People have a natural tendency to feel pulled to this kind of presence, which is characterized by a calm and thoughtful individual who places a higher priority on truth than ego. Consequently, the next time someone challenges your beliefs, disputes you, or gives a challenging perspective, you should resist the impulse to argue or correct them for you. Take a moment to pause, take a deep breath, and then say it with sincerity. "You make a very good point." Be sure to observe how the energy transforms, how respect is earned in silence, and how connection increases without a single win being claimed. In the following section, we will discuss the final 6-word statement that brings this transformative toolset to a successful conclusion. I believe in you. Unlike anything else, this one will really spark trust, hope, and connection amongst people. Number 6. I believe in you. There are only 4 words. Power without limit. When you tell someone, "I believe in you," you are doing much more than just delivering encouragement. You are planting a seed in their mind that has the potential to completely change how they view themselves. There is a weight of past failures, anxiety, and doubt that people carry with them. Even in situations in which their potential is readily apparent, they continue to question their own capabilities. There is a spark that ignites within them whenever they perceive true belief reflected in your eyes and in the words that you speak. This calm inner spark, which is a mixture of courage, hope, and drive, is what enables individuals to exceed the limitations that they have placed upon themselves. Epictetus taught that life is a series of tests that are designed to build character and resilience. He asked, "What ought one to say then as each hardship comes?" This was something that I was working on, and I was getting ready for it. To believe in someone is to remind them of their inner strength, their capacity to persevere, and the resources they already possess to tackle problems. This is what it is to believe in someone. The awareness of the Stoic fact that every individual possesses within themselves the seeds of virtue, knowledge, and resilience is not hollow flattery or wishful thinking. Rather, it is a recognition of the Stoic truth. This sentence resonates with some of the most profound psychological and emotional machinery. The production of dopamine and oxytocin, which are substances that boost motivation, trust, and a sense of safety, occurs in the brain of an individual when they perceive that they are being believed in a genuine manner. Faith is infectious to others. When you show someone that you have faith in them, you ignite an internal drive within them to fulfill that expectation, not because of you putting pressure on them, but because you inspire them. If the expectations that are placed upon people are founded on genuine confidence and respect, then people will naturally rise to the occasion and fulfill those expectations. Marcus Aurelius penned the following: Do not waste any more time talking about what a decent man ought to be. The phrase be one. The same is true for belief. It does not lecture, criticize, or demand anything from its followers. Instead, it demonstrates that you are aware of someone's potential and have faith in them to realize that potential. The grandeur that already resides within them is reflected in your belief, which acts as a mirror. A powerful sense of empowerment is produced as a result of this, which cannot be produced through the use of argument, persuasion, or even charm. In addition to exhibiting emotional intelligence and strength, you are also demonstrating strength when you tell someone, "I believe in you." Your self-assurance is such that you do not require their accomplishment to affirm your own worth, and you are self-assured enough to applaud their success without feeling envious. It is impossible to resist being drawn to someone who exudes real support, calm confidence, and humility. Individuals are drawn to folks that have the ability to make them feel powerful, capable, and encouraged. This is due to the fact that their presence is uncommon, secure, and energetic. Stoic philosophy places an emphasis on the interdependence of humans, also known as sympathia, which teaches that elevating the lives of others is a way to empower ourselves. What it means to put this idea into reality is to have faith in another person. As a result, people start to trust you, respect you, and feel drawn to your energy, not because you demand it, but because you inspire it. This is a subtle but deep influence that it creates. The weight of possibility, hope, and affirmation is carried by the words that you have said. In addition to that, this sentence helps to improve connections and trust on a fundamental level. It is not enough for people to remember what you say. They also remember how you emotionally affected them. When you continue to demonstrate that you have faith in other people, you transform into a person who encourages bravery, cultivates progress, and creates self-assurance. Such a presence is capable of establishing connections that are more profound and long-lasting than any superficial charm or argument could ever hope to accomplish. The next time someone is confronted with a problem, a moment of self-doubt or hesitation, take a moment to pause. I believe in you. Be sure to look them in the eyes, talk slowly, and say it with complete sincerity. It is important that the gravitas of your remarks be communicated by your tone, your presence, and your conviction. Not only is this a form of encouragement, but it is also a transmission of trust, strength, and validation with this. The fact that you see their potential, respect it, and have faith in it is communicated through this action. This is the highest type of influence, according to the Stoic philosophy, which is characterized by being calm, grounded, steady, and genuinely human. Not only are you engaging in conversation, but you are also motivating. Being able to make other people feel capable, recognized, and empowered is what you are doing to create a magnetic presence. The kind of power that molds minds, hearts, and eventually destiny is the kind of force that is quiet and permanent, and it is the power of believing. When it is said in a sincere manner, the phrase, "I believe in you," completes the arsenal of 6 sentences that have the ability to transform, not via ego or charm, but rather by presence, empathy, and the realization of human potential. It transforms everyday conversation into a power that can be used to connect, influence, and attract others. The power of words lies in their ability to either create bridges or destroy them. Stoics were aware of the fact that mastery of words is synonymous with mastery of oneself. To speak in a manner that is composed, truthful, and wise is to command influence that is not visible. It is important to note that the following 6 phrases are more than just instruments for communication. I understand how you feel. Tell me more about that. I'd love your opinion on this. I really appreciate you. You make a great point, and I believe in you. Empathy, humility, gratitude, respect, and faith in humanity are all expressions of virtue. Others include respect and thankfulness. People don't only like you when you use them in a true manner. They do so because they trust you. What they do is more than just listen, they connect. Marcus Aurelius told us that we should not waste any more time talking about the characteristics of a decent man today. The phrase "be one," go out there and do it. Talk in a way that is wise. Listen with a calm demeanance, and let the truth, rather than appeal, be the means by which your words entice.